answering a listener question today, and I don't think it's going to go the way you think. I've been working on my grip and got it nailed down, I think. The only issue is I'm getting a large bump on the inside of my thumb joint shooting hand. So firing hand inside of his thumb. If I don't shoot for a few days, it goes away. I thought I might be injuring the inside of my joint with not proper grip, but perhaps the recoil is banging that inside inner thumb joint. It's pretty strange, though the gun doesn't seem to move from my hands. As a hobbyist, I used to shoot maybe 300 to 500 rounds a month. Last month, I shot more than 1,300 rounds in 2 weeks. Is this an injury you've seen before? Am I doing something wrong, or do I just need to shoot more till it goes away and stop being a wimp? It's painful enough that it makes it difficult to grip the gun when it's really flared up. Just curious if you've heard of this. Shooting a Glock 17 with medium-sized hands. Reach is never a problem for reference. All right. So, what's going on is, well, just happen to have a Glock 17 here, as luck would have it. When he's shooting, something's happening on the inside of his firing hand thumb, and it's hurting. If, like, your hands... So, I guess the first thing to start off with, how do we diagnose if it's something he's doing wrong? Or, like, what's causing this? How about this? Is he doing something wrong to cause this? So, for just a principle-based approach for how you grip the gun, like, I don't really care about the positioning that much. Firing hand just grips the gun high. Support hand, I do like the karate chop thing at the bottom of the trigger guard. Close, so your hands hit together. Whatever, and there's not going to be a lot of variation for how your thumb grips. One thing you could do is grip the gun more so it's like no longer straight in your hand. So you could try to grip it sideways one way or the other more. But, so like, I don't know, every single variable he's tried, but it's like shooting the gun, it's injuring his hands. Is he doing something wrong? The answer I have to say is probably not. It's probably a case of the gun not fitting your hand well. And, like, the length of your fingers, the size of your palm, the shape of your thumb, any of those kind of variables. For me, I've shot just handguns in general so much. Well, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to how do I get a good angle of this to you? But my thumb is kind of permanently deformed. That's going to show up. Yeah. You can see where the beaver tail sits.
Sure, I understand.
Shut up, Siri. You can see my thumb is actually deformed. Kind of on the top of it. Just that's the angle I needed. From just, like, gripping a gun so much and doing so much shooting. If we get it to back up a little bit, you can kind of see, like, there's a permanent, like, kind of callus. Like, my thumb's, I don't know, it's like slightly deformed, I suppose, just from shooting. So, sometimes things like that happen just from shooting, but I don't remember that ever hurting while it happened. It was just one of those things that happen. If the gun is in some way hurting you, it might just not be the gun for you. One thing you could do to change it, well, first off, I would not think, like, you've been shooting a bit, kind of understand roughly where your hands go on the pistol. If it's hurting, I would not do it more, just expecting it to go away and stop. You could add the back straps onto the back of the gun, because Glocks come with like 4 of these, to try to build it up or get your thumb further away. Maybe you add a little like JB weld to something like this, and then to try to like build up somewhere or make the grip diameter or size change so it doesn't hurt you. That'd be one thing you could do. Otherwise, sometimes you get to a point where it's not you, it's the gun. It's funny you mentioned Glocks. Not this one specifically, but I've torn myself up a few times shooting Glocks just in the way of tendinitis and, honestly, getting so bad. I try not to complain, but it was like I just couldn't sleep even at night. Just kind of wake up with it aching and hurting. And me being stubborn, and for the people I was going to be training with, I decided Glock was what I was going to shoot. So I just kind of didn't care about what happened. I just decided, like, I was going to keep shooting the gun at all cost. Big picture, that's probably not the smartest thing to do. Just a little bit stubborn. Well, probably still am sometimes. And a little bit of a slave to appearances, for being real. So, anyway, the Glock caused a bunch of issues for me in the terms of the grip angle. So the problem was, like, having my firing hand kind of rotated more forward compared to a more neutral grip angle, then clamping down. It uses different muscles, and it ended up with issues kind of like right along on top, like right in front of where my elbow is, kind of back up along behind my shoulder blade. So no amount of like changing the gun was really going to mitigate that. Since then, Professor Kim came up with this modification for the beaver tail where he takes like a medium one, cuts it off, and this kind of helps change the outline of the Glock a little bit, or that Glock grip angle. But ultimately, it's still a Glock. I shoot them a little bit when I need to, but ultimately, these will probably never, again, be the main gun I train with. I can shoot them okay now, but if I shoot them a lot, I'll start to end up with the same kind of issues and discomfort. So, again, if I need to, I can shoot them. I've actually got another one coming, a 47, for business stuff. It'll be like a loner. But anyway, otherwise, I don't normally shoot Glocks just because they cause me a lot of issues. After that, I switched to, not trying to sell you a Walther, I don't care what you buy, one of the Walthers in the polymer frame gun, just gripping this in comparison, and it was kind of magical. The steel frame's fine too, but the polymer was the one at the time where I felt like when my support hand gripped the gun, the grip was more up and down, so less at that angle, that steep angle, like the Glock has. Oh, we get a good angle. So like, comparing the two, you can see a difference in the angle. So that caused issues for me. Instead, I'm just using like a Walther or a neutral grip angle. It seemed like my hands fit better on the gun. The beaver tail shape didn't interfere with my hands at all. I could get my support hand on the frame. So there's just like, yep, this is the gun I want to shoot. And these guns have never really torn me up, either the steel frame or the polymer one, as far as like a hot spot in the terms of so much pain I'd need to stop shooting. Of course, my hands get chewed up from shooting a bunch of ammo, but it's not like the slide's cutting me. For example, a lot of people in the Glocks, when the slide comes back, they'll end up having that slice the webbing of their hand open. It's like, oh, I don't get that if I grip the Glock perfectly, but if I don't, I'm going to get cut open. Like, nope, not going to do that. Instead, get a different beaver tail to build that up, or maybe the gun just, it's not you, it's the gun. You need to switch to a different model. So, again, kind of talking through this, if you've tried, whether you're this person or in a similar situation, if you have the gun hurting your hand in a point that you have to take breaks, and it's not just related to like hot spots where your fingers get sore or the meaty part of your support hand from maybe the grips tearing them up, or your hands just get tired, that kind of stuff's going to happen regardless. But if there's something specific to the shape of the gun that's hurting you, digging into your hands, causing you to bleed, whatever, I'd either do some Dremel or polishing type of work on the gun, or, unfortunately, maybe that gun just isn't for you. You need to look at something else with a different grip angle that accommodates your thumb, or the size of your hands, or gives your support hand enough to work with. As far as for this person, I wouldn't say like today you should go buy something different. You could of course try the people's guns, but I think the first place to start is the different beaver tails. Just seeing if you could build this up to, I'm guessing, one of the bigger ones, the medium or the large one with the beaver tail that goes all the way up. Just try that and see if that helps your hand a little bit. Again, the modification on this one, I cut off, this was, well, Kim's idea, cut off kind of the bottom section of this to change the angle. Otherwise, obviously, if you like the grip angle, you'd want this piece up top, but the regular full back strap. But again, you're just trying to change the gun a little bit to be what works best for you and causes you issues. But training should never get to the point that you're like so uncomfortable or in so much pain that you can't sleep, it draws blood, that you have to take a week off or anything like that. So guns need to be modified to work for you. You shouldn't have to really be modified to work for the gun, other than maybe a little bit of athletic tape or a little Dremel work or a different backstrap. So hopefully it answers the question to give you something to think about. Like I said, people work hard for the money. I'm not saying go out tomorrow and buy a gun, but I would try the different parts that come from the factory, or even just adding some JB weld or something to see if you can build up the grip or change it or cut on the area that's contacting you. But if you get to a point where it just doesn't work and it's causing you a lot of discomfort to the point that it hurts, you feel like you're doing damage, or you have to take a week off to recover, it's not the gun for you. You just got to switch to something else. So hopefully that gives you something to think about. If you're that person, I hope you get it sorted out. Let me know in the comments if that works or your thoughts. In any event, I appreciate you watching. Have a good day.